Final game to break down here, Shane. Missouri goes on the road, snaps their losing streak by beating Vanderbilt 37-28. And this was a game, Shane, early on. It was playing out just like we thought. This will be a blowout city. Missouri jumps quickly out to a 10-0 lead. And then Connor Bazelak throws a bad interception in the red zone. And the middle of the game was largely dominated by Vanderbilt because that Missouri defense showed up that we all know and fear here. They were getting run all over by Mike Wright and the Vanderbilt Commodores. They made it a game. But, man, it's tough to watch Vanderbilt right now, Shane, because in my mind, they're getting coached right. They're trying. They're trying with effort, but there's mental mistakes. There's errors here or there. And what was devastating, they had all the momentum, and then they gave up a Hail Mary right before halftime. Like literally the final play here, Missouri scores a touchdown. That gave them momentum here in the second half, and Missouri closed it out thanks to one of the most outstanding players in the country, Tyler Badie. What'd you call him? A poor man's Reggie Bush? Something like that? I mean...
Poor man Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if he was on a better team, he'd be getting some Heisman love. He is that good. Leading rusher, leading receiver. He's doing it all. Harrison Mevis as well. Let's give him credit. He should be an All-American. He's probably not going to get consideration because Missouri's having such a down year, but he deserves it. He is one hell of a kicker. And unfortunately, Connor Bazelak got hurt. I don't know the severity of it at this point, but Tyler Macon came in and scored a touchdown that put this game away. So it may be time. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think Connor Bazelak's really what's killing you. It's obviously the defense, but man, I feel bad, like I said, for Vanderbilt because they're so close in a lot of these games, but these issues, mistakes, you could play well for 9 snaps in a row and then have one terrible possession, one terrible play, and they just don't have the talent in the roster to come back from some of these mistakes they're making. And I'm not giving up on Clark Lee. They've clearly got a long, long way to go. But I like the fight that these Commodores have, but they just ain't there yet. You know what?
Well, they're there if they want to screw up my lock of the week, Mike. I'll tell you that. I mean, I was upset about this game. I mean, it was a hell of a game. Once the Georgia-Florida game kind of got out of it, man, I found myself drifting over this thing and watching it. It was very competitive. Like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head. Vanderbilt, scrappy bunch of boys, and it seems like we say that every week. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not resulting in victories. You know, they're 2-7 for a reason, but, you know, it's not because of heart. And I'm going to tell you, and I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Lee. If you think about it, Mike, here's a guy that is at his alma mater. This is his dream job. A lot of people don't have a dream job at Vanderbilt, but Coach Lee is there. And I think that bleeds into these kids. When they see their coach giving their all every single week, I think it's why we get these types of games like we had against Missouri, like we've had against South Carolina. Like if your coach wants to be there, they want to be there, and they want to show their coach that they belong in the SEC. You know, we talked earlier, Dan Mullen just walking in the locker room. You know, I think when you see coaches do stuff like that, man, these are impressionable youth. They are going to mimic what their leader is doing. And if the coach doesn't care, they're going to stop caring. And then you're going to see blowouts. The reason we don't see blowouts with Vanderbilt is because there is a lot of heart on that team. Mm-hmm. They were in it, man. There was opportunities in this game that they could have beat Mizzou. And I'm not saying that these teams should be in the same ballpark right now because Missouri is loaded, especially if you think about the running back. You kidding? There's a lot of NFL franchises licking their chop right now waiting to draft this kid because he can do it all. And he showed again over 300 yards in this damn thing? Mm-hmm. I mean, he put the team on his back. You got an athlete like that, and you can just barely scrape away with a 9-point victory? Come on, Mike. That's what drove me nuts is at the end of this game. You didn't see it, but Eli's jumping around, and he's tickled pink, and he's hugging people. And I'm like, dude, you barely beat Vanderbilt by 9 points. What the hell are you so excited about? This should have been a blowout on both sides of the field. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Vanderbilt. I'm just saying Mizzou deserves better, and there's no reason you can't. It definitely wasn't home field advantage, Mike. There was just friends and families at this one. I heard a tweet say, you know what I'm saying? There is no reason that Mizzou shouldn't have had 20, 30 points on this team by half, but they let them stick around and almost bit them.
Yeah, well, I get what you're saying, but I think at the same time, I mean, this is just like got to snap that losing streak, any way possible. Hell, even if it was a 1 point and a 9 overtime affair like we saw last week in that ugly game against Penn State and Illinois, any win's a good win for Missouri right now to get that positive momentum building back. I hear what you're saying. They should have blown this team out, didn't get it done, but hey, I just continue to shake my head, Shane, that while Vanderbilt is far, far from a team that can compete in the SEC, how wild is it, Shane, that they've got 2 quarterbacks? I know their numbers are not fantastic. Mike Wright did score 3 touchdowns. He had a big rushing day, 152 rushing, 122 passing. But it's wild to me that Vanderbilt's got 2 good quarterbacks, but they don't got much else around them. You know what I mean? I mean, I know Cam Johnson had a big day here, but there's many SEC teams and many teams across the country that would be happy with one of Vanderbilt's quarterbacks, but it's just so bizarre that they got 2 solid quarterbacks, yet they don't got a team around them, and I feel bad for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Kentucky, they just they need more weapons to step up on the outside. Mm-hmm. But like I will tell you, man, I love the heart of this defense, Vanderbilt especially. It's just, man, these guys they really did leave it all out there, and they wanted a victory for their fans, and they just couldn't get it, and that's what fell short. Those are always the toughest, man. When you find a team like this, you really want to come away. You need Coach Lee wants a signature victory. This would have been a good one for him.
Hey, Eli, can you say what happened to Connor, if you even know at this point? And at what point did Tyler become your choice to replace him should something like that happen?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It looked like a soft tissue injury and still evaluating that, but I think it's a soft tissue injury. It was really situational. We've been practicing Mako and some 4-minute offense stuff. And on that down and distance, we were just, I didn't want to try to force the ball, was trying just to make it into a manageable field goal range. And that was a play that Mako had been practicing and executed well. So that's what we went with. But Brady's right there too. If it had been a different situation, probably would have went with Brady, but that was a situation we knew Mako was ready to execute. And then at the end of the game right there, felt like we were going to need some quarterback runs potentially. And for him to pull it on that last zone read for a touchdown was pretty cool.
Hey, I'm just wondering, talking about Tyler Badie a little bit there. He went for 294 yards today. Are you running out of superlatives for this guy, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I guess he did go 294. I mean, he's a great player. I've been saying it for a long time. He's probably the best player that nobody's talking about. He's really the engine that drives us. And, he's just got a big heart, and he's a competitor and showed it tonight.
Eli, you've obviously been willing to feed Tyler plenty of carries all season, but never quite to this extent. Going into the game, did you expect him to have that type of a workload, or was it something where you just said, you know what, it's working, let's stick with it?
We're just trying to win the game. He wants to win. I want to win. This team wants to win. And we're just trying to do whatever it takes to win this game. And that's what it took.
Hi, Clark. From your vantage point, what happened there fell apart there at the end of the first half, and what was behind the decision to fake the field goal?
Well, the fake was it was a long 4th down that was right on the kind of the outside of, right on the fringe of where our range is. And so with the conditions and, taking that into consideration, we had a fake that we wanted to run against them on the left hash, and we had the look we wanted. And so that's what was the reason for that. Unfortunately, it didn't work. We got the ball back to the line of scrimmage, and we in terms of the 2-minute drive, obviously that's going to be about execution. We did a nice job getting them to the last play, and we had the receiver bracket in the end zone, we have to have somebody go up and play the ball, knock it down. And their guy was able to get up and grab it at the highest point. And, it was a disappointing swing that, ultimately we had the chance in the second half to erase. So don't want to linger too long on it.
All right, Shane. Last thing before we hop off the line here, opening lines. We've got some really, really good games here in the SEC for Week 10 action. And we'll start, there's only one non-conference game, but it's a hell of a non-conference, Shane, because old Hugh Freeze and Liberty returning to Oxford to play the Ole Miss Rebels. What's your guess for the spread for this one?
Oh, my mind went somewhere else. Give me Ole Miss. Golly, 22.
Ole Miss favored by 9.5.
What?
And I think some of that's got to be because Matt Corral's kind of banged up. You know what?
Oh, okay. Yeah, get your money in on that one early.
How about this one, Shane? Florida at South Carolina. What's your prediction for that one?
Florida 13.
Florida minus 19. How about that?
Oh, okay. All right. Bounce back game, trap game maybe.
How about this? Missouri at Georgia.
Mizzou at Georgia. Give me Georgia minus 27.
Way off, Shane. Georgia minus 39.
Golly, 40 points, man. Golly. Can this offense score 40? Have they done? Yeah, they've done that before. Yeah. Maybe they're thinking the defense is going to score about 30 here.
How about this one, Shane? LSU at Alabama.
LSU at Alabama. Give me Bama minus 17.5.
29 Crimson Tide.
Jeez Louise, I am all over the place here today.
These next three very close here. Mississippi State, red hot, at Arkansas.
Oh, that's good. At Arkansas, that's a pick 'em. That's a pick 'em.
They got an Arkansas minus 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now here, the game of the week, Auburn at Texas A&M. What do you got for that?
I hate to pick against Auburn, but it's at Texas A&M, and they're playing red hot too. So give me Texas A&M minus 6.
Close. A&M minus 5. Okay. And then I saved the best for the last for you, Shane, in this bourbon bet. Tennessee at Kentucky. Who do you got favored in this one?
I'm going to say Tennessee minus 19.5. No, I'm just kidding. I say they're still going to give Kentucky some love. So Kentucky, let's go Kentucky minus 3.
Almost nailed it, Shane. Kentucky minus 4. And up there with that home field advantage, they have not lost a game yet at home. So that is going to be one hell of a matchup, as well as several of these, I think, really are. So cannot wait for this. This is going to be one of the best weekends of the SEC so far.
Absolutely. Full slate, man. Back to the I mean, don't get me wrong. 4 games are cool because you could kind of focus on them, but I'm ready for a little bit more SEC action. A little. I hate when there's just one game on and it's like, damn, it sucks, you know?
Yeah, when there's no games on, that's why I'm watching Cincinnati.
Oh, I'm sitting there at 12 just so everybody could agree that Cincinnati should not be ranked in the top 25. So, oh, man. I found myself watching, the Iowa game. And I was like, golly, these guys keep fumbling on the goal line. They're going to, it's just like, you don't appreciate SEC football as much until you're watching some of these other conferences play football. And I will tell you, Mike, the one thing that's driving me nuts, I got to mention it, is the East Michigan thing. No Dan Wolken, no Ford out here. We're issuing the statement. I think one of the funniest tweets was there was that car getting knocked over and the windshield busted. They said Tennessee got fined $100,000. Oh, shit, man. Well, I got to get out of here, man. I got to take this kiddo trick-or-treating.
All right, so I appreciate you, Shane, for hopping on the line. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope this will be a day late, but I hope you had a great Halloween. I hope you have a great Halloween. Stay safe out there, Shane. Don't eat too much candy. Catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols.